DBS community, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super video with Kyle Chris, and today we're going to be going over the state of black. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of the video down below. Sorry, I had to take a drink of water, I'm a little dehydrated. So, this video and the state of yellow are coming out after the Supreme release. Crazy weekend, just with work and store championships and stuff. I didn't really get time to actually make the video. I have all the work done for it. I just got to actually record the video, so not a big deal. Still release week technically, so we'll go into what's going on with black going into set 13 and beyond. So black has been a formidable color for the past two sets. You have seen honestly a lot of different black decks top. You have Vegex, Gogeta, Dark Broly. That's a lot. And you see Dark Broly in almost every top cut in best of 3, in best of 1 formats. And in best of 3, you're starting to see Dark Broly a little bit more now. And, you know, black has just done a very, very good job with just growing into its own color now. Because black for a while wasn't very good. And after the Vegex drop, black seems to kind of been shifting in this, you know, positive direction. Black has a lot of counters to a lot of different matchups. And it's really scary. We'll go into that a little bit in more depth once we get to the decks. Black decks have tons of strong staple cards, and the prices for these cards are not very expensive, excluding the Demigirl Draft Box card, because we know that card's really, really expensive. Outside of that, though, no other card really has seen a incredible jump in power. I mean, you could build Dark Broly for probably under $300 with all the SRs, not including the Demigirl card or maybe one or two of the TPs. So you can build a really formidable black Dark Broly deck, and that deck can almost beat anything without having to, you know, get the super expensive cards in it. So it's a very the deck has a very low floor, meaning that it's very easy to get into. It's a very entry level deck, Dark Broly, but the ceiling also is very high, which does make the deck kind of a problem. Honestly, you can't have a deck that's very easy to pilot. This is the same issue that we had with Vegex when Vegex first dropped. The deck is extremely easy to pilot, so beginners can get into it. Beginners don't have to add a lot of staple cards to it because the deck just naturally has tons of value. And to top it all off, people who are really good at the deck just exceeds expectations and blows people out of the water. And that's somewhere where Dark Broly kind of lies right now, and Dark Broly does need some form of tuning of some sorts. I don't know what it's going to be, but the deck needs to see some form of tuning. The deck is extremely too powerful for what the deck can do. You take decks like, you know, Mecha Frieza, for instance, where people think Mecha Frieza is the most broken deck in the entire world. Is it very strong? Absolutely. 100%. I think it's tier 1. But the difference with Dark Broly is that Dark Broly gets to play everything out for free. I get to play extra cards for free as Mecha Frieza, but I'm taking my life. So I'm not technically playing it for free. Dark Broly can play out all of his 6 drops for free. And that's pretty scary. So that's something to keep in mind. But Dark Broly probably is the best mid-range black deck currently in the game. You can switch to aggro, you can switch to a little more of a longer mid-range game, but the deck is really good. Then you switch into Gogeta, which is another kind of mid-range deck. I think it falls into the mid-range aggro area, where you can easily blow someone up in 1 or 2 turns, depending on how many of those 1-drops you have on board. And then obviously Vegex has always been the staple aggro black deck. It can transition into more of a mid-range deck. All 3 of these decks are very similar in that they can kind of pivot depending on what the matchup is. But also, all 3 of these decks can play the True Fighting Spirit Goku and Vegeta's, which is one of the best black staple cards in the game for being a 1-drop that has Deflect, and that warps card from your opponent's hand when they activate a counter skill. Very powerful. All 3 of these leaders play Power Burst, excluding some Dark Broly decks, so you can get all those cards back. Very good. Very good. Now, another black Saiyan deck that really didn't get a lot of love in its launch in set 11 is Super Saiyan 4 Son Goku, Guardian of History. This is a leader that you will probably see in some top cut in some capacity. This leader is very, very good. And I think what it was really missing was a unison. Honestly, the Gohan unison was blah. No one really cared too much. You can play Piccolo unison, which is okay. You can play Toa unison, which is okay in this deck. But now this deck has the Demigra unison, which allows this leader to access to Wormhole, which is a keyword skill that allows you to Dark Overwhelm or Overwhelm twice in one turn. That's what this deck needed, because you were basically just playing one powerhouse every turn, and now you can Overwhelm twice per turn with that unison on board. Changes things a little bit, allows you to be a little more aggressive, allows you to do, you can probably do a 6-drop Overwhelm and a 4-drop Overwhelm in whichever order, or you may be able to do 2 6-drop Overwhelms in one turn depending on how you play it. This deck could be incredibly powerful, and the fact that the leader is just a built-in win condition, being able to use Double Strike, is just absolutely powerful. So it saves you a mana from having to Champa, so instead you can Human Extinction attack, add more cards to the drop, which will then allow you to Overwhelm after your leader attack. Give your leader 15k instead of 10, and every 4 black battle cards you have in the warp, 8 black battle cards you have in the warp, you gain 5k. So essentially you'll probably end up gaining at least an extra 10k every turn, or every time you attack. That's pretty good. I mean, 10k for no energy is basically just a pseudo super combo. So look out for this leader. I have a list I'll probably put out. It won't include any of the Demigras, which is definitely one of the cards you want to play in this deck. But I do think the leader could be just good. I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be better than Gogeta, but I think it can slip into some top cuts, maybe in locals, and can do some work. Which brings me to the meta-changing black deck of the set, which is Dark King Mechi Kabura. This leader is nuts. This is actually the leader I'm probably going to be playing at the next Tour Championship. Good old Mechi Kabura. And this bad boy it's so powerful. The main reason why I like it is not a Overwhelm-centric deck. Technically, you don't even really want to run Overwhelm in this deck, because you have to have the access to your Dragon Balls in the drop area. The fact is that this is a new age Wish leader. It's very, very good. Wish is it's Wish without having the Wish, tag, obviously. Tons of support that came out in this set. You have the Shroom and Salsa, which warp cards. You have the 1-drop Mechi Kabura that draws you a card and then plays one of those, either a Toa, Salsa, or Shroom from your deck. You have the 1-drop Mask Saiyan, King Mask Saiyan combo, where you play the 1-drop out. For 2 energy, you play the 6-drop out. You have the 2-drop Poutine / Topo negate in the game. And not to mention that the leader has the ability to steal battle cards permanently, and then can also inherently get Triple Strike, which then will allow him to draw 3 cards during that turn. The leader's nuts. The leader is nuts. I think there's a big learning curve for this deck, because you don't necessarily want the Dragon Balls in your hand. You want them more in the drop area, because when they're in your hand, you have to pitch those cards to do stuff. So you don't necessarily want them in your hand all the time. But it's an interesting leader for sure. I'm very excited to play it. I'm very excited to see people play it and see what it can actually do in the meta. Because this deck can inherently hurt every deck almost in the entire game. Being able to steal battle cards. Then you have the 8-drop, the Dark King Mechi Kabura, which plays for 4 with Deflect, and warps your entire opponent's board, and then you take 2 battle cards with no specific cost with different names and play them on your side of the board as skillless, which is nuts. So you think about Sin Shinron. You could steal one of their 9-drops, and you warp everything else, and then you take one of their 9-drops, so then you have a 30k body on board. You do with the Dark Broly. there's just so many combinations of things you can do, and very excited to explore this leader. Very excited to see it top, because I think this leader is going to end up being, like I said, the strongest black deck in the format. Now, some key components from previous sets that you should definitely be picking up if you are playing black. You have the Dark Demon Realm Scientist Toa Unison that came out of Dropbox 6. Very, very powerful unison. It's a 20k that warps cards. You can take control over stuff, especially in a deck like Magicabura, where you're constantly warping battle cards. This card will just gain +1 every single time. Petrification. This is a 1-drop negate where you drop a card and you get to negate the skills of a battle card, ignoring barrier, and it can't attack, be used in your opponent's super combo area, or activate skills, which is very, very powerful. Then you have Son Goku, the Path to Power. This is a skillless Goku card, but all it says is that your leader is a Saiyan card. So this can be played in any type of Saiyan deck that plays skillless. So you could play it in Kid-Ku, you could play it in Soul Striker. Technically, you could play it in the Yellow Gohan skillless package. So your leader just has to be a Saiyan, and then it plays out a 2-drop or more skillless. You play out a 2-drop or less skills from your drop area, and then it gains 5k for the turn. So basically, you play out a 2-drop skillless, it becomes a 25k. You play out a 1-drop, it becomes a 15k. And it's a 25k double striker for 2 energy. So that's very, very powerful. Then, the important cards to pick up from this set. These are some, I like to try to pick like 1 battle card, one unison, and 1 extra card just to kind of give it some spice. So the Demigra unison, obviously, as I already said. This can be currently used in any black Saiyan only leader, and in the Supreme Kai leader. So you can't use this in Demigra. You can't use this in other leaders. But that means in the future, whenever there's more God leaders, you'll be able to use that. Because it says black Saiyan only or God leader. So it has to be a black leader. And you're able to activate Overwhelm twice per turn by using the keyword skill Wormhole. Extra card is going to be Clash of the Masked Warriors. I think this card is nuts. Activate battle, choose one of your opponent's unison cards. Your opponent may remove a mark from it. If they don't, your leader doesn't take damage from attacks by their unison card, but strike skills for the battle. So what this card means is your opponent either pops a marker off of their card, which when a unison loses a marker, any type of buffs granted to the card is reverted. So if your opponent's playing the Vegeta unison and they swing double strike, you activate this card. If they remove a marker from it, it will remove its double strike for the turn. If they don't, then you don't take damage from those double strike effects. Also inherently, if they remove a marker from it, let's say it has 1 marker left, then the card dies, the battle ends, and they don't get to do anything. So it's a very, very good card. It's kind of like the Absolute Confidence card that came out in set 10 for blue, but this one's now just colorless and can be used in any single deck. It's definitely something to look into, just to pick up. And the foil version of this card is beautiful. And then the black SR is going to be King Vegeta, A Kingdom Lost. This card currently sitting about 15-16 bucks. This card's gonna be really good. So you can play it from the you can play it off of this guy, which is your 1-drop. It's kind of hard to see because it's dark. But you can play it off of the 1-drop Dark Mask King, Pursuit of Power. Comes in an active mode. It's a 19k double strike barrier. When this card is played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and send it to the warp, or choose up to 1 card in your opponent's hand and send it to the warp, which is very good. If this card is in rest mode, your opponent attacks, and when your opponent attacks a leader card, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and sends it to the warp. So essentially this card will end up warping 2 cards from your opponent. Incredibly powerful card. And it's also a 5k super combo, which is good. 5k super combo. It's a 5k combo that you can use, so it's not incredibly heavy in your deck. So it also gives it some value there. And that's what I got for you guys for black. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of the videos down below. Any sort of comments, concerns, anything about the color black in set 13 that I missed, please leave it in the comments below. I'll read those and we'll have some discussions. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.